What's going on, you guys and my happy people? My name is Tae Lewis, and thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast. I'm super excited for you guys to be here. This podcast is called Let's Talk Country-ish. And the reason why I did this podcast is because I wanted people to understand my story of who I am as an artist, but also bring about awareness about the music industry and just talk about country stuff, country shit, right? Because that's what we need to know about. And so I wanted to bring my friends along the way as well, talk about my journey in this country music industry. So, are y'all ready? So, the word I hear all the time now on social media is, what is the T? Like, I don't understand what that means, but I was so confused at first what this word was because maybe I feel old. But today we're going to talk about all the tea that I have experienced in this music industry. All right. So thank y'all again for just coming in and tuning into this podcast because that means so much to me. If you haven't already, make sure that you go ahead and subscribe. Okay. If you haven't, go ahead and tap that button real quick. And if you don't want to, that's okay. In the meantime, y'all going to end up doing it regardless. So it don't even matter. But to start off, I'm going to talk to you guys about where I'm from and how I got started in country music. So I am originally from Goldsboro, North Carolina. Y'all probably know it's a small little town in North Carolina. Dirt roads, country town, everything. And I grew up on so much of gospel music and country music. And what I wanted to do was just wanted to do country music, but I didn't know how I was going to be able to incorporate it and bring it to awareness. I told my dad when I was 13 years old that I wanted to do it, and he looked at me like I was crazy. And I understood why, because like to him, he's never seen that. He's never seen any bit of parts of what country music looks like in his peripheral vision, right? But he didn't even realize that he was listening to country music because he listened to people like Ronnie Millsap. He listened to people like Charlie Pride, but he never knew that those people were country music. All he knew was that it was just music. And so, and my mom too, my mom is the same way. She was like, I didn't know that was country music. So country music has always been surrounded by me, but they didn't know that it was awareness of country music. Now I started country music when like I told you, I started country music or listening to it when I was 13. But then I really just started bringing more awareness to wanting to do country music when I was like 21, 22. And really when I started doing that, it just really kind of was like evolved after that, right? But before I get into talking about my country music industry or experience of what I've done, I want to kind of bring y'all back a little bit of when I was 13 and I was telling my parents that I wanted to do country music. I want to bring y'all back and talk about what happened before that, okay? So I grew up in church. My dad is a pastor. A lot of the reason of why I do what I do as an artist is because of my father. Literally, he made us grow up on this type of music, you know, gospel music, country music, CeCe Winans, Dottie Peoples, Kirk Franklin, Mary. I grew up on all that type of music, but I also grew up, like I said, on country music. And so when we were little, my dad put us in a group together, me, my brother, and my mom, and we were called the 4 T's. And my dad was also a part of a group, and he was signed to a record deal at the time before we were even born. And he brung us on the road and stuff like that as he got more into like doing what he was doing. But he decided that he wanted to leave that and just actually become a father. But then when he started realizing when I was 5 that I could sing a little bit, he was like, okay, maybe there's something there. So he literally put us in a group together, and we started just traveling to different churches, and I started singing at festivals. I started singing at fairs. I was getting first place at certain things. And I was just like, okay, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? And there was this church that we went to and when we were traveling. And this church that we went to was had special guests that was Kirk Franklin, Mary, Stacy Lattisaw. And as we were singing at this show, we did not know that this is crazy. I'm finna say this, but we did not know that Bad Boy Records was gonna be a part of the show. And so a lot of people know what's going on with Bad Boy Records right now. I don't even really want to tap into that, right? But we were approached by somebody a part of Bad Boy Records, And my experience of being a part of that, I was like so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, Bad Boy Records, this is crazy. Like, we know Diddy. Like, this is crazy. And so my mom and dad, they were kind of not for it at first. The manager that we had at the time, they talked to him and they was just like, hey, we can reconsider, we can consider it, but we don't know if this is something that we really want to do. So we ended up like looking into it, and we talked to his team, and his team was like, okay, like, we love Tae's group. And I said, and this is the time where we sent in those little videos, right? And we sent in the little recording videos, and we told him, and like, I was singing I'll Be There by Michael Jackson, and my dad and my mom and my brother, they were backing me up. And we sent the recording in, the tape in, and they literally was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But they didn't want my family. They only wanted me to be a part of it. So that right there was like something my dad and my mom were like, nah, we can't have that. So they kind of tried to put it in the contract to state like, okay, if we can put Tae and his parent and maybe one parent to come on tour and do all the things, maybe we can reel him in. But my dad was too smart for that. My dad was like, no, that's okay. Like, we're not going to do it. Now, this is the time before all these allegations are happening, right? But this was like an experience for me because I was just like so mad. But I'm so grateful that my father and my mother really took care of me and really like stood tall about like all the experiences of what's happening with Bad Boy Records now. So yeah, so that happened when I was like, you know, around about 10 years old. And then as I got older, you know, I started just really evolving into gospel music even more. But then I really started tapping into country, and I really just told my dad that I really wanted to do it. Now, you know, that was really like a pivotal part for my dad when I told him that I wanted to do country music, because he was trying to figure out how can we be able to still be, you know, a family unit and still try to do, you know, this, and he wants to do country music. Well, it wasn't until like I got out of like high school and I got into college is when I really started like just evolving into it, and just told my dad, I said, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And sure enough, I ended up doing like a worship album, and my friends will tell you I did a worship album with the church, and I did a worship album with a by myself. And it really wasn't something that I really wanted to do, but I did it because I felt like I didn't want to, you know, make my mom and dad, you know, sad at me, you know, or upset at me. And I think at those ages when you're like in your early 20s, you still want those recognition from your parents. You want like, oh man, I want my mom and dad to be proud of me, so I'm going to like just do whatever. But now that I'm at the age of like, you know, 34, I'm like, I don't give a damn. Like, I really am going to do I am doing. And that's what I love doing, is country music. I've been doing it for almost 10 years, and it's just been an amazing experience. But as I go forth into this podcast, I want you guys to really just dive in and just really tap into what we're talking about in this podcast. And I hope that you gain something from this podcast, because this is going to be such a thrilling and exciting time for you to be able to get to know me personally, but also get to know my friends. Because I feel like a lot of y'all on social media, y'all be feeling like y'all don't know Tae Lewis. And now y'all finna get to know the real Tae Lewis. And as I'm speaking to y'all on this camera, this is all me. This ain't fake. This ain't none of that, okay? I'm talking to y'all real talk, okay? All right? So as y'all tune in to my podcast, like, y'all just feel free to, you know, just love on me and send it to somebody else that may want to be inspired to say like, hey, like, maybe I want to start a podcast, right? Because you can. But at the same time, maybe you can be inspired by what I'm doing in regards to talking about raising awareness to, you know, country music and some things that you may not know about just the industry in general, or even in country music. So I hope this inspires you, and I hope to see you at the next episode. I love you guys. Thank y'all so much.